Hi, and welcome to the Campaign Cartographer Dungeon Designer 3 tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make a very quick dungeon using Dungeon Designer 3. To do this, the first thing that you need to do is obviously start up Campaign Cartographer, and then you set yourself into Dungeon Designer mode. You'll find this little button over here with a DD on it will be what you need. Once you click that, you are now in the mode for designing dungeons. You can then come over to here and say that we would like to create a new map. Clicking on it will bring up the new drawing wizard. By default, you'll have a range of different types of drawings that you can create. Now, this list will depend highly upon what types of additional products you have installed into Campaign Cartographer. If you've installed Dungeon Designer 3, you'll have the Dungeons option here, which is what we're going to click on. And we're just going to use a predefined template rather than trying to create everything ourselves because it's quick. Next. Dungeon Designer 3 has a range of templates that make it very quick to get up and running with a dungeon. We're going to choose, well, we only want a small dungeon for this tutorial, so we're going to choose a 200 foot by 160 foot Dungeon Designer 3 battle mat shaped dungeon. Just going to click on that here. As you can see, it comes in. We have the basic map border. We have a lovely dirt colored background. We have a scale bar from 0 to 20, which means each of these are, guess what, 10 foot square. And we have a little compass rose. Okay, before we start, we're going to get familiar with the various controls on the screen. Campaign Cartographer has a lot of controls, and this is one of the things that scares away some people. But don't worry, you can actually make a really good map using only a couple of these controls. The first set of controls that we'll get familiar with are these ones over here. These allow you to zoom in, zoom out, zoom to a specific portion of the screen. We'll just click this button over here. We can zoom a box around that, and zoom to the whole map. This button redraws the screen. So they're your zoom functions. The other functions that are really, really useful, and I use them all the time, are the grid and the snap settings down here. The grid lets you select what sort of grid you want on the screen and whether you want to display. And the snap button will mean that anything that you place down on the map will snap within relation to that grid. If you'd like to set your grid settings, which is always a good idea before you start any drawing, you come over here to the menu for Tools, Snaps, Grid Settings. This template has a range of grid settings already preset for us. I'm going to choose the 10-foot grid with 2 snaps. Just clicking on OK, there you go. You can see that the grid is now set up with these little dots, and the snap is set up so that anything I place down would snap within relation to that grid. Now down here we have a range of drawing functions where you can put down very, very detailed shapes, lines and polygons onto your map surface. We're not actually going to use these much today. We don't need them because we have these tools over here which allow us to very, very quickly put down floors, walls, caves, water and so forth very, very quickly without really any need to be worrying about the more sophisticated computer-aided design functions that Campaign Cartographer has built in. Finally, down here we have a few little editing tools that allows us to move an object or copy an object, delete an object, undo what we've just done. Undo is really useful. Now let's get to it. We're going to draw today a map which consists of a small entranceway, a temple for, say, an evil lich, and off the side of the temple will be a secret room. And we're going to use primarily the Rooms button, style button here, and the Wall style button here to do this. Right, let's get started. I'm going to start by creating the entranceway. We'll do this by clicking on the Draw Floor button here, and then helps if I click on it, and then we will draw a small hallway and a room leading off that hallway as our entrance area. Well, there we go. It's that simple. But do I really want a wooden floor? No, I don't. When I clicked on this button here, I was clicking on the default floor style, which in this case is wood. Let's undo this by clicking on the undo button. Now, instead of left clicking on this floor panel here, I'm going to right click, which brings up the browser dialog. That means that we can select from any of a wide range of floors that have been preset. You can also create your own presets, but that's for a future tutorial. Let's click on the brown floor flagstone style. We'll have an entranceway that comes in, say, 20 foot, and then opens up to a 15 foot wide. Remember, we've got our grid snaps on, so if I click here, it's going to snap down to the center, which is perfect. There we go. And there's our lovely entranceway. Let's put a wall around this. Just like the floor button over here, you can right click to bring up a browser, and I'm going to want a really rough stone wall here. I'm going to choose the Stonework Cobble wall, and I'm going to draw a wall from here around the wall, but I'm not going to completely enclose the room at this time. I'm going to draw another wall. There we go. We've now got our wall. The reason I haven't drawn this wall along here is because I'm going to add it when I draw the other room. I'd like that wall to be in a completely different style. Okay, now we're going to draw the actual temple room. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit by pushing this button here. A little bit more. I'll move my page over. Quicker way of doing that would have just been to go show me the whole map. Boom. We're going to draw a temple room around here. Again, we'll start with the floor. We'll right click. And I'd like the floor of the temple to be a little bit different. I know. Let's make it a green tile mosaic. Nice and bright. We're going to start at the edge of this floor. We're going to move up 5 foot. Remember, we've still got our snaps on. We will flange out a little bit. We'll come down, say, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet. Come in. Come a little bit more. And I'm going to have a little 10-foot wide alcove in here. Now we're going to basically mirror the other side of the room. Close up our room. Bingo. There's our lovely room. Let's put a wall around it. Again, right click. Now instead of using the Stonework Cobble wall, I'm going to choose a grey straight wall. Make it look a little bit more sophisticated. We'll start in this corner, and we'll just simply quickly draw around the room. Draw around our little alcove. And all the way up to here. Done. We now have our temple room. Let's zoom in on the temple room and see what we've got. As you can see, we've got our wall around it. We've got a drawing down through there. Absolutely perfect.